Hi, welcome back to Finally Revealed. In this episode, I want to talk about communication and some suggestions for you if you have something you need to disclose. I think in present day and what's going on in the world right now, I really think that this boils down to a couple of issues. One is awareness and education, and the other one is reporting and communication. We had the Me Too movement recently, and I don't know very many women who were really surprised. Growing up in the society, especially if you're in business, you have encountered some type of slight, all the way up to actionable sexual harassment, either quid pro quo, you did this for me and I'll do something for you, I'll help you in your career, or create an improper and insufferable atmosphere. When we talk about police stops or being singled out or being picked on for any reason whatsoever, and in the US we have lots and lots of laws on disabilities and age, sex, race, all of these different things concerning employment and a lot of different situations. It seems that people bury things because they're embarrassed. They don't want to be seen as hysterical. They're worried about how their disclosure is going to reflect back on them. Well, now that's showing us two different things. That's showing us they have, and we, a lot of us have had these situations and have not told other people about them at the time, or not complained and soldiered on. We're holding back. We don't want to have the stigma attached to us. We don't want us to be seen as a complainer. We don't want to be seen as a whiner. We want to handle our business. And because we're not talking about these things, then when piles of these situations stack up and it pops out, and then people get all hysterical and upset and up in arms and pointing fingers and accusing people and saying you need to learn about this and I'm really hurt. It just all boils over, and it causes a lot of finger pointing, not necessarily in the right direction. Sometimes it might be in the right direction, but sometimes it's not. But how can you tell when everybody is now shouting and screaming and violence and rioting and whatnot? So we have to talk about how we can resolve these situations, and my suggestion is that we start talking about them when they happen. We talk about abuse or neglect or situations with children, or things that it comes out when they're grown up. Nobody talked about it when they're young, or people didn't believe them. We need to start talking to people about our stuff generally, and get to know each other better. Stop considering social media memes or bashing back and forth or anonymous accounts and trolling and all of this nonsense as communication. It's not communication. Stop texting, pick up the telephone, have a conversation, get together with people, share information, share ideas, communicate, and listen to each other. And that way it makes it easier. You've got the groundwork set. You've got family, somebody in your family you can talk to, somebody at your office you can talk to, somebody in your friends group that you can talk to, and look around those groups and make sure those people know they can talk to you. And I have a couple of suggestions. If it's the first time that you're going to report something or talk about a situation that made you uncomfortable. Yes, you're going to have to be vulnerable and expose that you don't feel good talking about this. But that's the only way it's going to come out, and we can address this. We can work together to identify the people that are doing these types of things, call them out. If somebody doesn't get called out on their behavior, it's going to keep happening, either to you or to somebody else, and that doesn't benefit anybody. And while you might think that you're being strong or bucking up the system or you don't want to make waves, are you really bucking the system, or are you joining in whatever the bad action is? And now you are contributing to that. Now, I don't want to say count everything and every little thing that you interpret as a slight, whether it was or not, but you have to do some sifting and evaluate what is the level of this? Was somebody acting like an idiot, or was somebody really putting you in harm's way or scaring you, or worse? And so, you don't want to become the little boy or girl who cried wolf. And unless it is really serious and it really is happening over and over. And then obviously at work, you need to address it. You need to be moved. You need to have the situation changed. If it's a matter of personal safety, you need to get some help with that. And so hopefully these few tips will help. I've had people and good friends talk to me about sensitive things. Part of it's because, I'm miss confidentiality. I don't tell anybody anything. But also because I feel like we have a close relationship. And so, sometimes you can just call somebody up and just start talking to them. Other times you want to be prepared. And especially if it's something that it's sensitive to you or you're nervous about. The best way to have these conversations is in person. The next best would be on the telephone if they're too far away or the schedules just don't match up and it's something that you really need to get addressed. The longer you wait to talk about it, the less likely you're going to be to talk about it, and then it's going to get buried. But then if it happens again with that same person or in another situation, it's kind of like the dog getting kicked, which please don't kick your dog. You're expecting it, and if you're expecting it, you're attracting it to you, and it's going to keep happening, and it's going to escalate. It's going to get worse. You're going to feel worse about yourself. You're going to feel guilt about not telling about it the first time, and it's going to make it that much harder to spit it out. And so contact whoever you think is the best ear for this particular topic and reach out to them by text or phone or whatever and just say, hey, I have something I'd like to talk to you about, something that I need help with. Can you set aside some time? Do you have any time? And then what's your time frame? This week, today, tomorrow, tonight, over the weekend? Do you have any time that you can set aside for me? And then if they say, oh yeah, let's all go out and get drinks, you can come back and say, well, this is something that is personal or private, and I want to get some feedback from you. You don't need to spill out the whole story. You don't need to create some big mystery. You just need to communicate that you want this person's time and you have something to share with them, something that you want some help with. Leave it at that. Then schedule your time and then you organize your thoughts. What happened? You want to be able to talk to them about what happened and how it made you feel. And what are your questions about it? Is it something that needs to be reported? Is it something that needs to be disclosed? Is it good enough for you to just make a record with this person, or do you want to go and address it with the person that this happened with? If it's somebody in an official capacity who did something that's a stranger, how do you report that? And you want to talk this over with your confidant about how this is going to, how this is going to play out and how they can help you. It's going to unburden you because you're getting it out, you're telling your story, so you're getting it off of you. That's a benefit all by itself. But it's going to bring the two of you closer together. It's going to help you relate to them. And somebody else listening to a situation, especially when you're emotional about it or you just feel creepy about it or wrong or bad, it's going to validate your feelings and help you put it into perspective. Maybe this is something that then needs to be reported to the police or to your landlord or to your parents or to your spouse or to your boss or to an official at the company if it was a service person that came over and did something hinky. And this applies in lots of different ways. If somebody ripped you off, if somebody stole from you, if somebody harassed you, if somebody treated you unkind or in a discriminatory manner. These are all the categories of things that you want to be able to talk about. So set up the time, get together with the person, tell them the story, and then talk about what is concerning you, and listen to them, and make them listen to you. Hopefully they will. And then all of us, we need to be more accepting and talk to people and to ask them how they are and really mean it. Not, my grandmother used to say, when people say, how are you? That's just a greeting. Well, every once in a while, check in with your circle. How are you? Is everything going okay? let's start listening to each other and let's start sharing a little more. And let's bust up some of this stuff. If we talk about it, anything that is scary or terrible, or you talk about it, it's now up out in the room. You know, the elephant that nobody talks about or whatever, it's now out in the open. It doesn't have to be out in the open for everybody you know. So you need to have some, discretion on who you're sharing things with, and make sure that that is a mutual trusting relationship, that you are safe. Because part of the reason that you need to talk to somebody about this is because you were feeling not safe. And we all have the right to feel safe in our bodies, safe when we're out in the world. And when that's compromised, it skews up everything. So those are just my 2 cents and my suggestion. I've had to deal with people through different situations on reporting and help get them to the right place. And we need to be sensitive to each other and compassionate with each other and help each other through all of these different situations. And if you have one of the situations that we're all talking about now, for whatever reason, dig those back up. Talk to a friend, do some self-work, do some journaling, get it out of you. Let's just get this pain out and start addressing things when they happen and recognize the truth. This happened to me, this person did this, I felt this way, I don't like it. And hopefully we'll start finding our voice to tell people when they're stepping over our boundaries, when they're treating us in a way that is disrespectful. We don't have to cause scenes, but we can address it right at the time. I'll do another video on that for some suggestions. But I hope this was helpful. If it was, or if it gave you something to think about, give me a thumbs up. I really don't like complaining about things without having some type of suggestion to resolve it. We really need to stick together and work together and resolve some of our problems. Everybody else on the outside can't always do it for us. We don't always need more laws. We need things to be addressed between ourselves, identify what needs to be reported, what can be handled in a different way, and work together to do that. Share this with someone it might benefit, or somebody that you want to open the door to be able to have these kinds of conversations with, and see what they think about it. Subscribe to see the other videos, and come back and see me next time. Thanks for watching.